number 5 seed in the Big Apple Miniature Football League playoffs this year are the Jacksonville Jaguars of Coach Scott Hooper. Scott Hooper is a new coach to the Big Apple Miniature Football League, to the BAM, but definitely not new to electric football. He has been a regular attendee of Mickle conventions and has a vast collection of players well versed in this game, and certainly knows the offense, the defense, and the special teams approach needed to compete. Did a great job down the stretch, winning 2 of his last 3 and finishing the season with a tie, amazingly in overtime, against the Oakland Raiders of Coach Morgan Scott, our commissioner, which, ironically, is who he's going to face in the playoffs. Should be an interesting rematch. In that game, as the Jags like to do most of the time, it was run the ball. He had some passing opportunities, some of which he wasn't quite able to capitalize on. But the biggest thing that stood out in that game was his defense. He brought some incredible defense to that game, a lot of pressure, a blitzer or 2 that were dominating the middle of the field, and in fact ended the game for the Raiders on a sack, on a blitz right up the middle. The quarterback had no time to do anything with the ball. However, one of the Achilles heels of the Jags that was exposed in that game was the kicking game, as Coach Hooper missed 2 crucial field goals. Either one could have given him a lead, possibly the win. So we will have to see if it comes down to the wire and if the kicking game is needed, will he be able to bring it and deliver that game-winning kick? We'll see on Saturday, December 11th, this Saturday, when the Jags take on the Raiders again, in the playoffs this time, at the Toy Wiz. The number 4 seed in this year's Big Apple Miniature Football League playoffs, the Oakland Raiders, coached by our own Morgan Scott, Mozique, the commissioner, or the commish as I like to call him. Raiders have had sort of an up and down year this year. Won a few, lost a few, and ended up finishing the season up with a tie against the team you'll see in the playoffs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, coached by Scott Hooper. Now, the Raiders and Coach Scott have always had a nice balance. They've always had a decent run game and a pretty good passing game. This year, however, he's leaned a little bit more toward the pass. Sometimes that's hurt him a little bit. Sometimes it's helped. But the run game is something that seems to have left the Raiders' repertoire, if you will. And they almost look like that big, throw it up there and make the big play type situations. But didn't help them in the last game, as the Raiders only scored 14 to tie the Jags, who they see in these playoffs. It should be an interesting matchup. One of the things that I think gives Morgan a little bit of a leg up, he's a much more experienced coach, knows his Raiders very well, plays with excellent defensive schemes, and had his team in great field position all day the last time against the Jags. I think, with all things being considered equal, this should be a very close game once again, but I think experience may play out here and may be the determining factor. And don't discount as well, in that last game, the Jags had chances to take that game, missed 2 field goals. It could come down to that again. We'll see who's prepared to make those game-winning plays on December 11th at the Toy Wiz.